Ah, yes, the infamous Hold My Banner with the infamous three amigos, Travis Thomas, George Malecki, the walking, talking triple-double himself, Kia Bucket, Ountae Campbell. Gentlemen, it is so good to be with you two and with all of you as well.
You know, I was three-time all-defense in middle school, right?
Oh, in middle school?
I need that.
In middle school?
I need that in my roll call. All right?
Wait, did they give out all defense in middle school?
They shouldn't.
The participation medals they gave everyone.
Yeah, right.
So you got walkie-talkie triple-double.
You're too old for participation medals, dog.
Yeah, walkie-talkie. I was in middle school. What do you want me to do?
I actually led my team in least minutes played. I'm very proud of it.
You were the bench mob.
Yeah. Oh, believe it. Hey, this is why I do this. I still cheer these guys on in real life on TV. Yeah. So listen, we're going to get into this for Hold My Banner. We have everything going on here. We are going to look back on and flashback to all of our preseason predictions that we made. Now that the smoke is cleared, what could go wrong? I'm sure we were right? So we'll get into that.
Yeah, sure.
But first, I want to start with the Celtics offseason thus far. So the last time I was on here, we sat and we threw every possible trade scenario for Jaylen Brown, Derek White. We knew the guys who would get moved, and they did. But so far, quiet on that front for Derek White and Jaylen Brown. So let's get into what has happened thus far for the Celtics this offseason. In terms of addition, we know a lot of subtraction has been going on.
Oh, man, shoot out the fireworks.
Here we go. Pew, pew, pew. Hey, this guy in D.C. is a star, though. Luka Garza, Dybantsa in the house.
How was he a star in D.C.?
He was a high school absolute menace,
That's
bro.
the first mention
I know.
have to say about his signing.
Yeah, that says it all.
When Ountae said, because he knew I know about Luka Garza.
Yeah.
So explained to a coworker, loves football, loves wrestling, doesn't care for the NBA.
Yeah.
He goes, George, give me the Luka Garza rap. I go, he was really good in college.
Yeah.
If that's the first line.
Well, you can add that. You can say he was really good in high school and college, but that's it. Listen, here's the front line. Can we just Niang, Garza?
Simons is good. Simons is a nice acquisition.
No, front court, bro.
Jordan,
Niang, Garza,
No.
Tillman, Hauser. This isn't good, guys. I'm sorry. I get all the aprons and the money and but this is, they've got to add something, don't they? The Celtics have to add some bodies because this ain't getting it done.
I mean, a lot of Celtics fans are right there with you. They're upset about the return as well. They're looking at this. We have a tweet right here from Boston.
Yeah, bro.
And they're saying KP for Luka Garza, Drew Holiday, Anthony Simons, Luke Kornet.
No. But I want that final one to be an arrow that says, winning banner 18, dealing with the second apron. Holy downgrade. They got a ring. Stop crying.
Yeah, but
this is reality.
What have you done for me lately?
What did you? I got you a ring.
You have
a year
to.
ago.
No, that's a year ago.
What do you mean lately?
What I'm saying
ago.
is, you have to give me some serviceable big men here.
And they're not
This
done.
is not it.
But they offload Drew. They offload Kristaps, who are also done. Like, they lived their life of their contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then signing Garza only has him $2 million under the second apron. So they did a lot of work to get under, and now they're back just barely almost there. I don't think Anthony Simons is a Celtic come start the season.
I don't either.
Because that's a much more movable contract at 26
Okay, well, let's stay there. What do you get back for him? Because here's my issue.
Yeah.
If you're going to move him for the money, what are you getting in return? That graphic was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because, yes, all those guys who help you get rings, thank you, congratulations, good luck, right?
Yeah.
What are we getting back? Cape Cod chips and Mountain Dews? Like, what are we doing?
Look, you guys are worried about Anthony Simons, and I don't know what we get back for him. That's the honest truth. But I know it's valuable. What George is saying is correct. Like,
it's a lot easier to move.
Right. It's an expiring deal. It's a
He's
guy
26,
that we're
really good scorer,
we
good
were
shooter.
excited about him. You know what I mean? I would love to see him play in the green this summer. You know
liked
what I'm
him.
saying? Like, I think that he can do a lot of great things for this Boston Celtics team if they keep him. The issue that I have with the signings that they did and the trades that they've done is Luka Garza is a nobody. I don't want an unathletic, undersized, big. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not interested in that right now. I need somebody who's going to protect the rim for them and do those things that we're losing out of Al, that we're losing out of Kornet, that we're losing out of KP. Those were the important parts of what they did for the Boston Celtics was rim protection and getting boards. So we're losing that on that end. And then on top of that, you bring in Georges Niang. Now, I haven't been kind to him. And I remember as soon as he got signed, I texted Travis and I asked, do I have to apologize?
No. Why don't you tell him what I said, but clean it up because it's a family show. No, you don't have to apologize.
Exactly. And so my thing about this whole entire offseason is, why is this guy still on the roster right now?
Yes, I know.
I don't feel like he fits in culture-wise with the Boston Celtics.
He doesn't.
Do, and I don't feel like offensively he can do the things that can keep up with the Boston Celtics offense.
Guys, you don't have to be all smart and sophisticated with your basketball takes like you're being. Let's call it what it is. The front court for the Celtics is trash. It's trash.
It's Nemish Queta. It's Luka Garza, and it's Xavier Tillman. But what if you take an Anthony Simons and say, I mean, he picked up the vet extension, but you move him for a Daniel Gafford who's making about $18 million. Because then you're offsetting by $8 million. And again, think of the tax penalties. No, if the front court's trash, you would take a Daniel Gafford.
I would.
Who is locked up for long term, is a rim runner, is a rim protector, is a rebounder.
He's not
can
good
defend.
either.
But what do you want? So you want Luka Garza and Xavier Tillman. You have to live with the ramifications of going all in.
Yeah.
If the Celtics did this, of the go all in, and everything timed out with the maturation of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as guys with experience,
Sure.
Physically, mentally, and getting to winning. If all of this timed out, let's say 3 years ago, they could have gotten 2-3 rings, but it timed out right before the second apron in the new CBA.
Yeah.
So they have to blow it up. That's what it is. That's real life.
You're right, okay? But also this is where the Tatum injury just kills you. Because if you have Tatum and you have Jaylen Brown healthy next year, and you make all these moves, it doesn't hurt as bad. Without it, it
I don't think
doesn't.
you make these moves knowing that they're healthy.
They would eat the repeater tax again.
I think they would have to.
I don't think they would eat it, but I just think that they would be. I don't think Niang would be here. I don't think they'd take that deal. You know what I'm saying?
They would have had to.
I think they would have done the Drew for Anthony Simons.
Yes.
Kristaps one is a lot harder to offload, so that's why you take a Niang.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think that's you make a phone call, you have three-way FaceTime. Hey, here's the deal. KP's out.
Yeah.
This is what's coming in. Chill. He's not staying.
But also, I think Al.
And that could still be it.
I think Al would stay. You know what I mean? Which is not done yet.
He would probably stay.
He hasn't moved on yet.
I know. But it sounds like
But
he's
we
going
all
to Golden
think
State.
that he's going to go to the Warriors.
Yeah, like
Windhorst.
Windhorst is saying it's happening. McMahon is saying it's happening.
He gone.
Right.
Okay, he gone. Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
And I already know you're both going to tell me I'm nuts. And I am. But I'm looking at DeAndre Ayton. I'm sorry.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
Here's my thing.
No.
Okay, you got bought out. You're already making all the money. If this guy isn't a loser, which he is, he could be. He could be. But if there's an inkling that he's not, can I not make the argument, hey, if I'm DeAndre Ayton, let me humble myself a little bit. I'm getting paid from this buyout. Let me go somewhere where I can compete and possibly win. Team up with a Jaylen Brown. Team up with a Derek White. I know Tatum's not there, but if I sign a 2-year deal, call me nuts here, for less money, then I could be there on the back end when Tatum comes back, and maybe I win, and people like me and the three amigos stop calling me a loser. No?
Look, let me tell you. I've been playing against this kid since he was in 8th grade. I know exactly who DeAndre Ayton is. He's played with a lot of my good friends over at Arizona. I've played against him in high school. I played against him in middle school. I've seen this kid at every single step of the way. This dude does not know how to bring that energy that you're talking about. He didn't know how to do it in middle school. He didn't do it in high school. He didn't do it in college. He didn't do it in Portland. He didn't do it in Phoenix.
What is it?
I mean, how many more chances does somebody get to show you that this is who they are?
But what's the disconnect? Or it's just him?
That dog.
It's just him.
He doesn't have that dog.
He was skipping workouts, skipping rehab, being late to team meetings in Portland. And yeah, it's a bad situation in Portland, but also that was a team on the cusp of getting into the postseason. And he was winning in Phoenix and still did not care.
He had a great opportunity to win in Phoenix.
1,000%.
He got Kevin Wayne Durant. And I always say his middle name because he deserves that kind of respect for the full government. He had that opportunity, and KD's out there blocking shots, jumping for rebounds after he tore his Achilles. And what is DeAndre Ayton doing?
Just standing around.
Watching.
Even the finals against Giannis, I remember he kind of disappeared a bunch of times, went MIA on him. All right, so we're out on Ayton.
Yes.
Let me ask you this then, because this roster, again, I'm stuck on the front court here.
Yes.
What is the front office? What is Brad Stevens telling us? What is he saying to the fans? What is he saying to loudmouths like us here? Is that, look, the money's funny. We're trying to make it work.
Right.
We have Jaylen Brown. We have Derek White. I almost think he's saying what George is saying, is like, look, we should have got more rings. We did get one. This is sort of the aftermath of that.
Right.
And when Tatum comes back, we'll figure it out. Is that what he's kind of saying here?
Look, he's saying this. First of all, we have to note that Luke Kornet has agreed to a deal.
We weren't going to pay him then. Like, I'm cool with Kornet.
Right.
Yeah.
And, they did have a draft this weekend, when they took 3 guys, Amari, Max Shugla, Hugo Gonzalez, who we got a chance to talk about the first-round draft pick in Hugo in the last episode. Look, this is what Brad is telling us by all of these moves right here. He's telling us that, hey, this team is a year away. We got a couple of guys that we're going to bring in who are going to learn the system, who could be a year away from being good contributors in the NBA.
Draft picks.
With those draft picks, a lot of those guys we talked about, like, okay, they have a couple of things that they need to work on, but they have a lot of things that are NBA ready right now.
Sure.
So he's taking those guys. He's taking some of these guys like what you call it, Anthony Simons, a Niang, and he's saying, okay, these are contracts that we could offload in a year.
Sure.
But we can get something back for that so that we're ready when Tatum and Brown are ready in 26, 27.
It's all about, like, it's a move before the move before the move. It's not even chess.
You always say that with Stevens.
And it's what he did last offseason. I mean, let's go back to when he trades Marcus Smart for Kristaps Porzingis.
Yep.
And everyone goes, so Malcolm Brogdon's a point guard? It was like, let's chill. And no one wanted Malcolm Brogdon out of here quicker than me because that's a guy that would never be healthy in the playoffs. So it's a pure basketball reason. But with Malcolm Brogdon being the only point guard, he said, let's just wait. And what did he turn Brogdon into? Drew Holiday.
Yep.
It's the same thing. He had to offload those contracts, so he turned Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday into Simons and Niang, and he's going to turn them into something. It's easier contracts to move. Because the same thing, too, is like the most captivating contract out there is Peyton Pritchard. That's a guy that could start for a lot of teams. He only is making $7 million.
Right.
But they can't trade him for anything because they can't take in more money than what they send out. It's so much with, I understand what the NBA did, wanting to get rid of the super teams, wanting more parity in the league, but they've turned it into, as a fan, we now have to be accountants and lawyers and like litigators.
Yes.
Because as much as I love this stuff, I hate it that I have to start everything that comes in with building teams to, but then you get your picks frozen and there's a repeater tax. That's what sucks. It took the fun out of free agency, and we're seeing it happen in the NBA too. What was the biggest signing? Triple J's extension? Nikhil Alexander-Walker getting inked, which was a great deal.
An extension.
Supermax.
All extensions.
And now what it is too, him getting $72 million a year, that's selfish. That's insane as we see these teams getting dismantled. The NBA let this pendulum swing way too far. They're trying to bring it to the other side. It's going to take a while to get used to. But with all of this, what Brad Stevens is saying is absolutely nothing. But if you're reading what they're doing, he's like, I'm just trying to get stuff under control. And it's new ownership. You pay $6 million. You don't own the arena.
A lot of bills are due.
You're not paying $500 million to put a team on the floor. And right now, it only costs $240.
Don't forget about KD getting traded and MPJ. But
well, I mean, how about that?
The biggest addition by subtraction. It's massive for Jokic. And the Cam Johnson return, what the Nuggets are doing is really good. But yes, KD to Houston, all right. That's a team that got in Houston.
How about this for a transition? I mean, the Celtics aren't the only team that's busy this offseason. We'll go around the league and talk about winners and losers from the offseason so far here on Hold My Banner. Roll with us. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, and welcome back in to Hold My Banner. Now, 3 amigos here. We're all winners. We love talking about winners. But another thing we're good at is making fun of losers. So we're going to do it all in this segment. Let's start with the winners of the NBA offseason thus far. It's just getting started, but you had the draft, free agency now. So let's get into a bunch of trades. You know where I'm going. Ountae's going to roll his eyes. I don't give a damn. The Rockets. The Rockets have won the offseason. It's already over. You get Kevin Durant. I said this during the season. I remember Kevin Durant being unhappy in Phoenix and telling Ountae right here on Hold My Banner, there's receipts somewhere, they should go get Kevin Durant. That's who the Rockets need. Young team, inconsistent at that time in scoring. We saw that rear its head in the playoffs, by the way. They didn't really have the go-to guy.
They didn't have a closer at all.
That's right. Kevin Durant, mature, a grown-up in the room, has never been an issue in terms of teammates, right? Kevin Durant's not perfect. But guys like playing alongside of him, except Draymond Green, but he's a psycho. So I thought, the Rockets makes a lot of sense. Boom, they get their guy. Here come the Rockets. Look at the entire offseason for them. The moves they're making, the pieces they're adding, the role players. This team is ready for a championship push. I cannot wait to watch Rockets battle the Thunder, battle. You got to throw Anthony Edwards in there. We know the heavies in the West.
Yeah.
At this point, I guess you move the Spurs up too into the West as well. So, and the Mavericks. So I think there's a lot of teams out West, but the Rockets are one of them. And I think you have championship bones there for the Rockets now. Who's some winners for you guys?
I mean, I do love what the Rockets have done because the fact that you bring in KD, Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella, and Alperen Sengun.
Yes.
Yep.
Basically, it's Sengun's your starter, and then Clint Capella and Steven Adams switch off every night. Then you get to the postseason, you just got all this depth in the front court.
Wings.
And even Udoka loves running the double bigs.
Yep.
Defense is there. You have your closer. Eamon Thompson's going to take a step forward. They love Eamon Thompson in Houston.
They re-signed Udoka too. Ime got
Exactly.
I'm telling you, this is a championship franchise.
Right.
Championship team.
They locked him in and locked in that system. I love everything the Rockets are doing.
Yes.
I love where an offseason started with what are they doing? Atlanta and the Hawks.
Woo.
What they put around Trae Young, with the spacing in the shooters, what they addressed in the front court too. They traded for Porzingis, who, again, same thing. Just be healthy for 40 games to make it to the playoffs.
Yes.
Rim running, rim protection, shooting. They get Luke Kennard, Nickeil Alexander-Walker on both ends of the floor, Jalen Johnson under contract, and they potentially have AJ Dybantsa next season in the draft because they got that pick from the Pels, the unprotected first.
Right.
On the trade night to get Asia Newell. Everything they've done has been lights out.
Yeah.
And that's all with you have Trae Young. They unloaded that team. It was really confusing. I was like, what are they doing when they traded DeAndre Hunter at the deadline? They ate it this season, and they hit a hard reset, especially with Pacers and Celtics cooked for this upcoming season.
The East stinks.
The Hawks see the Knicks still without a head coach.
Without a coach.
Drafting, free agency, no head coach.
Right.
The Hawks saw it and said the East is ours right now.
So wait, there's rumors that Giannis and the Hawks could be heating
all of a sudden
up.
they jumped up to the betting favorite.
Well, let's stay here for a second.
Okay.
Is it because the East is wide open? They do have some of those assets you talked about.
Yes.
Is this the time now? Maybe Hawks management is saying, hey, let's go get Giannis and put him with Ice Trae and see if we can win this damn East.
Right.
I would need Jalen Johnson in that unprotected first.
You have to get that.
Start that.
Yep.
And then if you're the Hawks, you passing up on AJ Dybantsa for Giannis.
Yes.
Because Giannis is a proven top 3-5 player in the league.
Yeah, because him and
could be
Trae.
great, but he's all could be. Exactly.
Him and Trae.
What if the Bucks say Trae?
Then you say no. You hang up the phone.
Yeah, you hang up the phone.
You hang up the phone.
Because Trae Young over Giannis is what you're picking.
No,
well, I need them.
You want them together. That's
yes, if I'm the Hawks, I need them together.
You want them together.
Yes.
You want to pair them together.
And by the way, similar to the Celtics here, to bring it back to the Celtics, healthy Tatum, healthy Brown, you can figure everything out, okay? Healthy Trae, healthy Giannis, you can figure out the rest.
Yeah.
You can figure out the rest. Who's the winner for you, Tay?
Look, I got to go. Both of those teams are great. I agree. Both of those teams have won this offseason. But the team that I'm looking for is another team out East because the East is so decimated, you know what I mean, that I got to go with the Magic. You know, and I think people might say, oh, you love the Magic and what's this, what's that? Look, here's the thing. They got rid of KCP. I understand they got fleeced with the picks. The picks are picks, though. When you're a team that's talented, you don't need draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need guys who have an opportunity to win a championship, something that the Magic have never done, right? They bring in a guy like Desmond Bane, who ends up doing a lot of the things and taking the scoring load off of a Paolo Banchero, off of a Franz Wagner, adds more scoring. They were a defensive team. He comes in and adds 20 points a game, and he locks up.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you go and sign Tyus Jones to a one-year deal to give yourself to get in that window.
Good leader.
To push towards the finals. This was a great opportunity for them, what they did in the draft. They went and got Noah Penda. They went and got Jace Richardson, two guys who are going to come in with defensive identity at the point of attack. Jace Richardson going to come in and score that basketball, be able to shoot, put the ball on the deck, do some on-ball things, secondary ball handler, facilitator. They did a really great job in the draft. They did a really great job this offseason. They put themselves in position to finally push towards being a contender, and I like that for them.
You know what's interesting, too, that both of you guys picked teams who mattered in the East. We know the Magic made the playoffs and subsequently lost to the Celtics in the first round. The Hawks are always, they seem like they're perpetually in play-in-bill. But with the East being what it is now and the injuries at the top to the good teams, I could see both of these teams moving up in the Eastern Conference pecking order and being top 4, 5 teams in the East.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's the moves that the Magic have. They haven't even extended Paolo yet.
Right.
Now they might again.
They better.
Talking aprons.
They better.
They're $29 million under that second apron. He's going to get like $50 a year,
Right.
Yeah.
maybe more. So they're going to have to make some things move. Maybe it's a Jalen Suggs or a Franz. I think they'd move a Jalen Suggs.
Yes.
But they're
Yes.
going to have to move stuff. But they haven't extended
It's
Paolo
all
yet.
about windows.
Yes.
All about windows.
And the window right now is Paolo not extended.
Right.
With the Celtics banged up.
I said this to Ountae earlier off camera. I'm going to say it now on wax and to you for the first time. It feels like we could be entering the Paolo Banchero era. I'm not going to lie. Like, because we've seen it. We've seen flashes where, like, oh, he's very talented. I think now is the time where we're entering his peak.
Yeah.
And look, of course, Tatum and Brown have something to say to the kid when they're together again. But I think Paolo is going to be a real player in this league starting right now, this season.
I think you're right. I think we're out of the dynasty, so I'm not into the dynasty thing just because of the second apron. So we might be entering the era. He might be able to get 2 over the course of 10 years.
Maybe.
But, you know, if he gets 2 over the course of 10 years, the way it's looking right now, that's
good. Yeah.
That's amazing. So.
All right, let's go to the losers. And I'm going to the Suns. I mean, what are y'all doing? Kevin Durant was the least of y'all's problems. Devin Booker has proven great player, not a great leader. He checked out on that team. Can't blame him, but that's not leadership, okay?
Yeah.
How about Mr. Trade Clause himself, Bradley Beal? He the problem. You can't get rid of him. You're stuck with him like roaches, okay? And then you get rid of Kevin Durant, the only guy who's consistent, not only scoring, but not a pain in the arse. Now you bring in Dylan Brooks, head case, Jalen Green, immature. They are a wreck. Suns, you are losers with a capital L.
Yeah, non-healthy Mark Williams also does not help.
Doesn't help.
To that equation.
Again, it was like they get him, and this is a guy that basically couldn't be traded earlier. We know Lakers wanted him, and then it's all those like red flags in the health scare.
Yeah.
Not health scare, but the red flags in his physical.
Yeah.
And then the Suns go out and get him, see him as an answer.
Crazy.
Hopefully he stays healthy.
It's also, too, like, I think the perspective Celtics fans need, if you didn't get a ring, you would be the Suns.
Yeah.
Like the Suns, nothing makes sense. They have to offload. They can't spend. They're acquiring guys like Mark Williams. You're a Celtics fan. You have 2 elite wings. You have Derek White. And you have a ring. Again, I don't want to hear any of them cry.
Facts.
Sucks they can't spend, but I don't want to hear them cry. Yeah. Celtics, though, are my loser because they still have not figured it out.
I'm not mad at that.
We're in free agency, and you got to be pushing more on to get Anthony Simons moved or make moves because while everyone's spending in free agency, where some centers aren't getting a ton of money, they're still just sitting there after guys are being moved and inked. It's a hard rebuild year, but that still is a team. With your core, you can be competitive, and with your core, at least to put out a team. But it's going to be Xavier Tillman and Luka Garza leading a front court, which I don't think will be the final answer.
You don't even like Yang.
He's not. He's not. No.
He don't count.
No. There will never be a piece of like social media with George Niang in it, let alone him wearing the Celtics jersey.
Right. I'm gonna let you finish, but the Celtics have the greatest offseason of all time. Hey, look at this tweet right here. Locked up JB. He's got the idea. I told y'all all offseason the Celtics need to be bad so we can go get AJ Dybantsa.
Yes,
you see
Lord.
AJ right there.
He young.
With our boy Jason Tatum. He's coming 2026.
Oh, I'm with
Celtics
that.
Won this offseason.
I'm with that.
Be trash next
And they should trade Jaylen Brown. You got to tank for real.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to tank for real.
And Jaylen Brown are gone.
Yeah, you got to tank for real, dog.
Going to finish 7th at worst in the East.
Facts.
Now, where did the Mavericks finish? And they got the #1 overall pick. So if you got a 1.8% chance, you got a chance. But, like, come on.
I'm going to be quick because we don't got a lot of time and we got to get to a lot of more pressing issues. I got to shout out the Lakers. Did they know that free agency began?
Well, LeBron handcuffs them.
$53 million right here.
LeBron handcuffs everything.
Jake LaRavia, though? Like, that's what they're doing? Jake LaRavia?
Hey, they might get,
I
was talking about, they might get DeAndre Ayton.
And that would be a horrible deal for them, too.
Why do you keep bringing him up?
He's a big body who's available for cheap.
The best thing that the Lakers...
Why not?
The best thing that the Lakers did this offseason was sell the team from Jeannie Buss, but she still control over the team in their decisions. Awful decision. They almost had it. They were right there.
Yeah.
Awful decision.
I love local businesses. They operate like a mom and pop pasta joint with some of their stuff. Just is what it is.
Facts.
Just is what it is.
Well, when we come back, we'll take a look back at all of our predictions in the preseason. And spoiler alert, we didn't get a damn thing right. That's next here on Hold My Banner. Welcome back to Hold My Banner. Travis Thomas, George Valecki, my man, the walking, talking triple-double. Ountae Campbell, and just like in a three-man weave in real life, George and I would get the ball to Ountae and get out of the way. So let's do it here. Ountae, let's look back on all of our predictions in the preseason now that everything is over. The champion has been crowned. The smoke has been cleared. What did we get wrong?
All right, so let's first start off with our top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference.
All right.
We'll start light. This is what we had. We all pretty much had Celtics and Knicks at 1 and 2. George had the Knicks number 1, which I don't know why he did that. The biggest issue that
they did in the playoffs. So
we all had
I was just a little ahead of my time.
Right. We all had the
where are the Cavs? Oh, no one has Cavs top 4. Okay.
We all had the Bucks at 4, which is around where they finished.
76ers third. All right, go.
The issue is where George just pointed out the 76ers at 3rd for Travis, and then the Magic at 3rd for us, which isn't good. So let's take a listen to why I said I put the Magic here at 3rd. I'm sticking with the Magic being a top 3 seed in the East, and this is their time. I'm personally going with Jamal Mosley, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and the rest of the cast. KCP to be the number 3 seed in the East this year, the Orlando Magic.
I go Magic too on this one. I was between them and the Bucks, and I think out of respect when I'm looking at it, I go inspired Giannis. But this Magic team was losing playoff games when only allowing their opponent to score like 87 points in the playoffs. They just couldn't score.
All right, so I gave a little respect to the Magic team. But, I mean, let's be honest. At some point in that season, halfway through the year, before Paolo got hurt, before Franz got hurt, they were sitting there at a 4 seed.
They were. Suggs injured too.
Right.
Always.
Mo Wagner was injured too. You know what I'm saying? These are real players for them. Guys that are starters, 3 starters, and a rotational big that
Wagner
they lost.
Torn ACL.
You know what I mean? For the most of the season, or a good chunk of the season, they were right there. So George and I were right there. It's kind of like with your 76ers pick.
Yes.
It just came down to injury.
I mean, bro, I should have known Joel Embiid couldn't be counted on. I should have known Paul George couldn't be counted on.
Yeah.
Shame on me. But that's exactly what happened.
Well, it's also like, all right, you can point out that Jalen Suggs, he always gets injured.
Yeah.
Literally, Helen Keller could see Paul George and Joel Embiid season coming. Ountae and I included. So
shout outs to Helen Keller. What we got?
All right, so now let's look at the bottom half of the standings. We had the 4 through 8, or 5 through 8 seeds, excuse me. A lot of things point out here. Pacers and Cavs just got absolutely disrespected.
Who had the Cavs at 8? Oh, that's me.
Disrespected. We showed the Heat some love for whatever reason. And then the 76ers were hanging around in the 5th seed for me and George. Look, here's the thing. George was not really that confident about the 76ers. Take a listen to why he wasn't that confident going into the season.
5, I do go Sixers. Joel Embiid's not going to play any back-to-backs. He's not playing in the preseason. Paul George just tweaked his knee. Tyrese Maxey, if they did not have Tyrese Maxey, this team would miss the playoffs. I just don't know what we're going to get from Joel, and he's going to be sitting all these games. But what do you get from a Paul George as well? This is a thing where you know how I stand on this team.
Yeah.
They have the potentially best big 3 in the NBA, but it's all potential with them, and it's no end results. I have the Sixers team at the 5, but that's more of a reflection of what I think of the 6, 7, 8 than my respect for the Sixers.
So George was all in on it, bro. You were like, this team might not make the playoffs if Tyrese Maxey goes down, and you were right.
24 wins, man. And it was Embiid, I just don't believe in anymore. And like the 76ers have put that out there, like, we don't know if this guy will ever be right and play basketball. And once Paul George tweaked the knee, it's like he's so athletic. You know, I mean, he's the hooper, like hoopers all looked up to of our generation. Because he could do whatever he wants on the basketball court. It's just ever since he had that really bad leg injury, hasn't been the same. Love Tyrese Maxey. I like it when the 76ers are building up, but it's just I cannot trust Joel Embiid, Paul George, especially when they're getting paid all that money.
100%. And look, here's the thing. I want to bring up that full page one more time if we can. The 5
standings?
with the standings, the 5 through 8, because you know we all disrespected the Cavs for whatever reason.
Because they're the Cavs. What do you mean for whatever reason?
Number one seed. Yeah, you're right.
They're the Cavs, Cleveland.
Travis has something what he really wanted to say why the Cavs were going to be so bad. Take a listen to why Travis Thomas thought the Cavs would end up in the 6th.
Oh, Lord.
On my sheet, I have Cavs at 6, but I hear George because why I say it doesn't matter, Kenny Atkinson is walking into a situation where literally the target's on his back.
Yeah.
And he's a new coach, and it's like he's supposed to come in. I personally think Cleveland is a toxic environment. So he's walking into that. He's got to fix that. He's got to show that Donovan Mitchell can, A, stay healthy, and B, make players around him better.
Yeah.
Because the Cavs have so much talent. So it's boom or bust in Cleveland.
Yes.
You could talk me into Cleveland as high as a 4 seed, but you could also talk me into Cleveland as low as a 7 or 8, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
You know what's interesting about that soundbite is
What?
Kenny Atkinson rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
Which I kind of said there. If he's the truth, they'll be fine. But the jury is still out on Donovan Mitchell making people better, where I can't knock him because he did show up.
Yeah.
And I've seen him show up now, a couple playoffs for them.
Yeah.
But I still question, it's never been an individual talent thing with Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
It's can you elevate and the players around you. And I just don't know if he's that guy.
Yeah.
But shout outs to Kenny Atkinson. He clearly proved that he was the right man for the
Right. So I have a question. Do you still think the Cavs have a kind of a toxic situation now, sitting here, a year later, almost?
I think toxic maybe even then was strong.
Yeah.
But something ain't right. And you know what I think it is? I think it's Cleveland. Sorry. Like, I actually like visiting. I've been to Cleveland a few times in my life, had fun. It's a great drunk town. I do great in drunk towns. But, like, they need an exorcism for sports. I know LeBron won a title there, but it's something with the Cavs had everything this year.
Yeah.
They're out of excuses at this point.
Yeah.
This was the year.
100%.
And they still couldn't get it done. It ain't happening. Sorry, Cleveland.
It's also how they were injured.
Yeah,
Like, it
they
was
were.
Darius
They were.
Garland. It was everyone, too.
Aren't they always? That's
Yes,
my
and that's been
point.
2 postseasons in a row, and that's fair.
They're like
That's
snake
who they
bitten.
are. That's who they are.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who they are. All right, now let's take a look at the West. All right, so we had some Western Conference ones.
All right.
I think we did pretty good so far here in the West. Nuggets, Thunder, Mavs, T-Wolves, all at the top. None of us could have predicted that the Mavs were going to go through the injury history and the Luka trade and all this other stuff when that happened.
Wait, what did the Mavs do?
Nico! Shout outs to Nico!
What did they get in return?
The biggest surprise here is me putting the Suns at 3, and Travis Thomas took the opportunity back then to tell me why the Suns would not get to the 3rd spot in the Western Conference. Take a listen.
Hell, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the Suns. I don't think they're going to even be the same team by the time you get to. But that team's going to get blown up in 5 minutes. And I have no LA teams. I think the Clippers are going to be a mess.
I don't have either.
I don't have either. Like the Clippers are a mess because they've already put all their eggs into Kawhi Leonard's basket. Good luck with that.
No
he doesn't even
Suns.
talk. You're going to lose.
No
Suns.
Suns is crazy.
No Suns.
No
and
Suns.
then I also Bronny was a wasted draft pick. How's that sound?
Yeah, no.
So the Lakers aren't making it.
No
either.
LA teams make sense to me.
It makes sense to. First of all,
No LA teams.
I want my flowers for the Suns
LA
take.
teams.
I want my flowers for the Suns take. I even had them too high on that full screen. I think I had them like a 6 seed
You
or
and
something.
I had them as a 5th.
I'm wilding out with that. I knew it wouldn't work, and I think because they are technically so talented with a Beal, with a Booker, with a Kevin Durant, I gave them a decent seed.
Yeah.
But I knew this wouldn't work. I tried to tell y'all it wouldn't work.
You did try to tell me. I was completely wrong in that whole entire thing. I agree with you that the LA teams were going to make the playoffs.
No LA teams. The 3 and the 5 in the West. None of us had them. Me
Right.
included.
Oh, you didn't either?
No.
Wait, look, can we go back to the full screen?
Show us the 5 through 8 seed. We'll
Oh,
look at the
okay,
5
all
through
right,
8 seeds
all right.
because we already looked through the 1 through 4. Here's the 5 through 8.
Okay.
And yes, now you can see the complete
wow.
picture. None of us put the LA teams in. George put
Bro,
the
who put the Pelicans
George
in
put you.
I don't
Oh,
know.
that's George! What were you thinking?
So listen. It was
Zion.
the first time I ever tried ayahuasca.
Oh, my
and it
God.
felt great. And then I went on the show immediately after. That's
He
all
on that
I got.
Aaron Rodgers pack.
Look, I have to tell George why I didn't like the Pelicans here. And George had a bold take about the Aaron Fox. I don't know. He was looking into the future. Take a listen. I don't have the Pels in.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't have them in.
Especially if they trade BI.
And I just don't like their size issue. They're talking about starting Herb Jones at center. Willie Green hasn't shown me anything as a head coach to inspire me to think that he can get this team to the playoffs again. You know what I mean? So I actually have the Pelicans from the outside.
I just love that the Kings, De'Aaron Fox has to prove it. Like they went out, we're not giving you the extension.
No excuses.
Add DeMar,
no more
Malik
excuses.
Monk,
Yep.
even drafting a 3-and-D guy like Devin Carter to play off the bench.
Yes.
I think every move the Kings made was perfect, and I can't wait to watch De'Aaron Fox say no to that money. I'm gonna get paid because I know if I bust my ass and do the same thing next offseason, I'm gonna get tenfold what you offer.
Right. Same. I couldn't agree more.
I like that he's getting paid by San Antonio. I didn't see that coming.
How about George?
I knew he'd get paid by somebody, but that trade at the deadline. I mean, just when he turns down and you're betting on yourself, and he bet on himself, and he's now with the future best player in the world in Wemby.
Well, yeah, I almost wonder our next prediction video before next season starts, how high we're going to have the Spurs up on. You know, because we didn't even talk about them. They weren't worth talking about.
Right.
I think we talked about Wemby for awards and different things. We'll get to that later in the program. But in terms of team, we didn't have any expectations for the Spurs.
I'd put them 2. Right now, I'd put them 2.
2.
Behind the Thunder? You got Thunder 1 seed again?
What about
over the Rockets?
Yeah, what about you?
Over the Mavericks?
Wow.
Mavericks?
I mean, we got
over the Mavs. No, 1,000% over the Mavs.
What do you mean 1,000%?
1,000%. It's Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving coming off a torn knee.
I mean, you got to see.
Wemby.
You got to see if Wemby plays a full season. We haven't seen
I
that
think he'll
yet.
be fine.
You know what I mean?
You better hope so.
Amen.
And then Cooper Flag, you just going to disrespect Coop?
Yeah, it's Wemby. I'm betting on Wemby. You're betting on Coop. I'm betting on Wemby.
I don't disagree with you that the Spurs should be a top 5 seed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm willing to go 2 definitively, even if Wemby's healthy. The West, look, we just made fun of the East for 10 minutes on this show, right?
The West is
a gauntlet, bro. Like, you literally need Thanos Infinity Stones to win the West.
And the Spurs did that. Luke Kornet was a final Infinity Stone.
You're right.
For that. I'm joking.
No. Maybe. He got paid.
He'll add something.
The double
of
bigs,
course.
Him backing up Wemby, the double bigs looks they could give defensively.
He got overpaid, but that's a good sign.
I thought they won the draft. I love the Carter Bryant pick. I love, you know what I mean, Dylan Harper and what he can do for them as a backup.
Harper's a bucket. Carter Bryant's a defensive stopper.
They still have Castle. That team, bro.
They're deep.
They can play.
2. You just talked yourself. You just talked yourself.
They're top.
I'm not
top 5.
I'm not saying 2. I'm in top 5. I might even be top 3.
But
I'm not putting them over.
When he takes the Spurs second in the preseason show.
I might.
I
might.
He's doing it.
Yeah, and I also don't forget. I like what the Nuggets are doing right now too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They got championship pedigree. One of the best players in the world right now. Still, you know what I mean?
Arguably the best.
People are still arguing that he should have won MVP this year. You know what I'm saying? So what he did this year, and you bring Altman back, who looked like a good coach throughout this playoffs.
I'm bitter over Malone. I'm still bitter. I think that was a mistake. And I still don't understand why Malone isn't a more sought-after coach. Look, there could be an opportunity for him in Boston one day, but that's another topic for
New York.
banner.
Yeah.
Or New York today.
Yeah.
If they were smart.
Yeah,
Him or Johnny Bryant.
If he wants that job.
If he wants
that job. All right. I want to take a look back at that 5 through 8 in the Western Conference if we have an opportunity, because the Rockets and the Warriors were getting slighted by us. We were kind of right with the Warriors. George didn't even have them in the playoffs at all.
Oh, wow.
Travis and I had them in the 7th and 8th seed, but the Rockets were in the 7th and 8th seed for all of us. Take a listen to why we put the Rockets and the Warriors at the bottom of the Western Conference. But I have the Rockets in the 8th seed.
Same. I think that how deep they are, how many scores they have. They have one of the best coaches in the NBA, Ime Udoka. Jalen Green continues to grow. Reed Shepherd, Ountae's boy, who I love that draft pick.
Yes.
I want him to get minutes. I really hope he does over some of these dudes. Mm-hmm. They're so deep. They got the right mesh of vets, and this team just starts with defense and it gets better, and they can just score. I really like the Rockets.
I have the Rockets higher. For my 8, I have Steph. I think at this stage of his career, and Draymond's stage, Steph is just too great to miss the postseason again. I'm going to go Warriors at the 8. I actually have the Rockets at 7. I think they're ready to take that next step and get into the postseason. And much like I was talking about with the Magic, although I believe the Magic will win some playoff series, I think the Rockets will be a tough out for whoever they face high seed out west.
I agree with that. I actually do have the Warriors at 7. Mm-hmm. So we were in the same ballpark right there with that.
Yeah. Wasn't too off.
No, and
Rockets was off, but my take on the Rockets was kind of right. I mean,
I would like to find anyone that saw that jump.
No.
I didn't see that jump.
They're a liar if they say they saw it.
Not that jump. Because you have to remember, they barely had missed with this. These predictions were coming off the heels of a Rockets team that had barely missed the playoffs.
Yep.
And so I thought they would take that, and I said it in the clip. I thought they'd take another step and then eventually be a juggernaut. But no one, to George's point, no one saw that kind of. Rockets fans are lying to you if they saw that lead.
And I think the West just kind of ate itself, you know?
Yeah.
And the Mavericks got hurt and they fell apart. No one could have predicted that coming off of a finals appearance.
Right.
The Suns, we didn't expect them to be that bad. I think people are going to be like, yeah, you put the Suns at third and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Right.
But you have to remember, we're coming off of USA where KD was balling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Devin Booker showed the ability to play in a role, in a team, in a system. He was the glue guy, ultimate glue guy.
At that time, we thought Bradley Beal was good at basketball.
We weren't sure about that. I was sure about the other things. I was sure about the other things. You know, I didn't figure that, Vogel and that whole, Budenholzer getting that opportunity and that not working out. I thought that he would be the guy that could kind of correct the ship.
Yeah.
Right.
That didn't end up happening, but no one would have thought they would have missed the playoffs.
No.
It's also where we put the Suns is that we all have Thunder, Nuggets, T-Wolves, Mavericks, and the Suns in some semblance in front of them. I'm saying for how low we put the Rockets.
Right. Yes.
Against your point, the West eats itself. That competition's insane.
Yeah.
And as much as in that clip too, watching it, if you played that and go, where did that guy rank the Rockets? You'd be like, oh, he put them top 3.
Right.
Sure.
That's how much we're hyping them. The belief is, but you still see they were missing a closer.
Yeah.
So even with the confidence I was speaking about with them, it was still there was a clear-cut number 1 scorer missing.
Yeah.
I mean, now they got that. And
they
have a closer.
They still got bounced in the first round. So
They still
they might as well have been a low seed.
And it was a battle with the Warriors.
Being honest.
No, it's true.
Travis said tough out, and it was a tough out.
They were a tough out.
You know what I mean? So, 100%.
They're going to be more than a tough out now, though, moving forward. I'm telling you right now. That team is thetruth.com.
And we'll see post-deadline what they look like. That's the thing with so many of these teams. Why the Cavs got that 1 seed is what they did at the trade deadline.
Sure.
How we see a lot of these teams in the makeup they are. What are they at the deadline? Is Giannis in Milwaukee? Is Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland at the trade deadline?
It's Jaylen Brown in Boston.
Yeah, honestly.
Right.
Is
Just
Jordan
saying.
Niang back in Boston after he gets traded?
Yo, you love him, and he hates him. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
All right, we continue this stroll down memory lane when we come back on Hold My Banner. We'll look at who we predicted to win the title and some awards in the NBA. Roll with us here on Hold My Banner. We'll be right back.
Okay, how many games? So you both have Celtics against OKC. I have Celtics against the Nuggets in the finals. I'll take the Celtics in 6 to beat the Nuggets. I think Jokic will be what he always is. He'll give a Herculean effort. He's going to show up and show out. They could give the Celtics at least a tussle in the finals, more so than the Mavs could. I'll take the season 6. I believe it's Jason Tatum's time. He'll be finals MVP.
Celtics, and I hate predicting this far before the season.
Yeah, way too
good.
early.
Celtics in 6.
Yeah, okay. And I'm going the same thing. I think season 6, I think Tatum gets MVP. I think the Thunder come out of the series after game 4 tied 2-2, and the Celtics say, hey, these guys haven't been here before. We're the older team.
What's the separator?
We've been here. We've won it. Let's go out, put our heads down, get to the rim, and win this series. And I think that's what's going to happen. So season 6.
I like that.
Woo! MVPs?
Yeah, Tatum.
Let's go Tatum after Jaylen Brown got it last season. There's a lot of narratives that play into that. And if he does it again for a whole season as a playmaker, defensive stopper, no, F it. Jaylen Brown, back-to-back finals MVP. F it. He hits the big shots. He takes on the best defensive assignment. I'm done doubting him.
Hey,
Give me Jaylen Brown.
Bro, you win 2 titles and you're finals MVP twice. That changes his whole legacy. It changes his whole it puts him in a different stratosphere.
Okay, well, listen. I mean, I was loud and wrong. I'm going to give some flowers here because both of these guys told me and kept telling me all year that the Thunder were the truth. And I don't know why I just never bought it. I blamed youth, but I should have seen it, and I didn't see it. I kept rolling with Jokic. And then I talked Mavs. And then during the season, I jumped on the Rockets bandwagon. I just kept betting against the Thunder, literally and figuratively, okay? And I didn't see it. So I will give – we were all wrong on the Celtics, but I was loud and wrong on everything You guys saw the Thunder coming. You did.
Yeah, you did. I mean, George did. I did. It was a team that they were ready. They were just ready. You know, they were ready to take a leap on a Western Conference that had a lot of mysterious things going on.
Yeah.
It felt like at the end of the day, it was wide open, and they went and took it. I don't think George and I would have ever predicted that they would have won the championship, but I knew that they were the
betting on
best
a
team in the
healthy
West.
Celtics roster. Yeah, you couldn't see it.
Right.
We see them getting there, and it's the line and trajectory they followed. Western Conference thought they'd break through.
Sure.
In a way, man, they're a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
They are.
That's scary.
The Celtics team has always been ahead of schedule from the time that, you know, it was Jason Tatum getting with the team and playing as a rookie and then making the runs. Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown getting to the spot he was. Them going to the finals in 2022. They were always ahead of schedule.
Right.
Even when they won the ring, it was Joe Mazzulla's second season ahead of schedule. And look at what OKC is now.
Yeah, I just want to take a look at those finals predictions if we can in the full page version of it. You know, this is the thing.
At least I was, 50%.
Yeah, I mean, we were both there. We got halfway there. I mean, it's a Celtics show. We were always going to bet on the Celtics to win.
Well, it wasn't a bad bet.
I mean, I believed it. You know what I mean?
I ain't betting on them this year.
I think people sometimes.
Jaylen Brown was battling a partially torn meniscus, so basically the whole season.
I ain't betting on them now. Tell you that?
Oh,
Hell no. I'm not even convinced. Look, the East is terrible.
Yeah.
So they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I mean, if the East was a little bit better, I wouldn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced Derek White's still here at the deadline. I do think Jaylen Brown will be, because I think ultimately the big picture is going to be built around Brown and Tatum as always, right? But do you shut them down? Like, I do not see the Celtics season going well at all.
Tank for AJ.
At all. At all. Tank for AJ. But if you're going to do that, do it now. All right. Before we move on, Thunder repeat, yes or no?
No, I'm going to say no.
I'll go yes.
I'll take the field.
Because you said they're a year too early, so now it would make sense.
It's
right?
like a year. It's the league of parity now, but how deep they are and how healthy they were on this run too. Yeah.
And you're
really hard to win back.
I'm taking the field just because I don't believe in the ability for them to stay healthy for a full season again.
Okay.
I think these deep playoff runs are eating it away at guys.
We've seen that
with the Pacers. We've seen it with the Celtics here in Boston. I'm going to say the field.
Is there any major international tournament this summer? No, I'm serious. Like, not being facetious. Like there was the Olympics.
Yeah.
They need to take a break from basketball.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
They do.
And you know, when you're young, sometimes you don't even think that way. You just go hoop.
Right.
But that's a good point.
It's like naturally,
yes,
got to take a break.
Yes, absolutely. All right, look at our awards predictions here. I'm not sure we got any damn thing right.
Who put Tibbs at Coach of the Year?
That would be you, which is not a terrible bet, except that the Knicks hated him.
I put Bud, and he got fired.
He got fired. I was the closest.
Hey, mine made it through the season.
6 man, we didn't even give props to our own boy here.
No, that is crazy.
Most improved, I feel like my guy got robbed in Mobley, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I like the Jalen Williams and Mobley. Kuminga was a swinger. I completely missed on that.
Yeah, you were, I don't know where you
Mobley
were.
and Jalen Williams had great years.
You were on that Aaron Rodgers pack for that one.
Hates Kuminga.
What I do have here is all of our Rookie of the Years are awful.
Trash.
I looked good for a month. I looked good.
You did look good for a month.
For a month, I was in the driver's seat. Connect is getting
My
minutes.
pick didn't look good literally and figuratively.
What were you
That boy hit every branch on the ugly tree on the way down.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. Big man.
Watching the college dominance.
I liked him at Purdue.
He was thinking it was going to translate like Luka Garza.
Yo. All right, what about Defensive Player of the Year and MVP? Let's get that graphic as well.
I like
You
this.
see what Ountae did here? Because
creative.
all of us had Wemby, so you just spread it across all
Looks
three.
like the French flag if yours was white instead
Oh.
of
MVP, none of us were right.
Could you imagine trading a guy that a lot of people see could win MVP? Could you imagine trading that guy mid-season for someone that always gets injured?
Without him
could you
requesting
imagine?
it.
Shout outs to
Without him
Nico.
requesting
Without, thank you.
Without him requesting
Without
it.
shopping him. Could you imagine that trading a guy?
Shout
that
outs
is
to
an MVP
Nico.
combo?
By the way,
I hate Nico.
I do want to
so much.
I want to pick on Ountae here a little bit, even though Luka's never a bad pick for anything good, right? But you were so on the Thunder, and one of the reasons you were on them is because of SGA, and you kept telling me it's his time, Travis. He's this, he's that, he's this. I am shocked that you weren't on that.
I was between those two. Honestly, I was between those two guys. I just thought that, Luka was going to get another opportunity to elevate. We all thought the Mavs, I have it here somewhere, but we all thought the Mavs were a top 3 team in the West. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to have an opportunity to elevate. I thought him having Klay, the addition of Klay Thompson was going to be a huge addition for him as far as the spacing and all of that goes. Another year of continuity with Kyrie was going to help him out. And then the front court, we talked about front court depth throughout this whole entire episode. They had it. You know what I mean? I didn't see their whole team getting hurt. I didn't see him getting hurt. Honestly, he was playing a great season until he did get hurt somewhere there in December around Christmas. So he had a chance. It just didn't work out that way.
I thought, too, when you think of Luka, I was like, hey, an entire offseason, him being called fat is going to pay off.
Yes.
Ends up getting traded to LA.
Right.
By the way, here's my hot take. I think my MVP prediction already this early.
Oh, God.
I'm going to take Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is too great of a player to only have one. I think what?
In the show.
What?
Is it time for us to get?
Right.
That's insane.
I almost had a visceral reaction.
That's insane to take Kevin Durant to win MVP.
That's worse than people telling me that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 10 MVP.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, we're going to go argue some more about this.
No.
The only reason I said that, how dare I, is because the Rockets literally need him, okay? You insert him into that team that's already ready to win. He can go there and be himself. And by the way, we know how this works with storylines. George hates when I do this, but it's true. Where all of a sudden it's like, wow, the Rockets are the 1 seed in the West, are doing so great. Kevin Durant is resurrected. He's a leader. We've never called him a leader. He's a leader. He's leading these young guys. I think because of what the Rockets are going to do in the regular season and Kevin Durant's greatness, he should have more than one MVP. If we're being honest, I think he gets one. It could be a Lifetime Achievement Award-ish feel, but
the guy who just won MVP averaged 32 points a game. And the guy that he beat out averaged a 30-point triple-double. And you're telling me a 36-year-old
wins.
Team
wins. Yes, wins.
Is going to go win the MVP.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
The issue with Kevin Durant, he's from the DMV.
with your money, not mine. That's all I have to say.
The issue with him is that he's from the DMV and he's not from out of the States either.
Okay.
That's his biggest issue.
I love George, and I love Ountae, and we love you. We appreciate you guys for rolling with us here on Hold My Banner. Till next time, when the 3 of us get together and make predictions, sure to go wrong again. Thanks for rolling with us here on Hold My Banner. Peace.
Deuces.